The city sky had come down like rain, a silver deluge sluicing through silicon alleyways and circuit board cul-de-sacs, cascading into the digital sea. The boy, or was it a man? Time was a slippery thing here, sat at the edge of the world where pixelated waves met the sand. A shack stood behind him, worn but stubborn, its rusted siding echoing the copper sunsets of the northeast. In his hand, he held a device, half kite, half drone, an avatar of a past inextricably tied to the future. It fluttered above, a digital moth dancing with clouds, the last vestiges of a world grown cold to the organic, the natural. An old man leaned from the shack's window, his eyes sparking with salesmanship and a synthetic smile. His words, coated in the sugary slickness of promises, slid through the air, a siren song of fabricated coconut water. The boy's eyes flickered towards the old man, then back to the kite drone, an unspoken conversation threading through the humid air. Arm in arm, a pair of wanderers approached, their voices a choir of thoughts and philosophies echoing off the silicate sea. They spoke of transcendence, their words like shards of a shattered mirror reflecting back a world that had forgotten its own face. Transcendence, they said, is like the horizon, forever receding, ever elusive. Their voices washed over the old man, their words slipping between the cracks in the shack, seeping into the very marrow of the planks. They didn't want the synthetic, the false promise of paradise in a bottle. Their thirst was for knowledge, a pang that gnawed at the edges of their consciousness, that gnashed its teeth against the artificiality of their world. The old man listened, his sales pitch fading into the ether, replaced by the slippery philosophy of these strange wanderers. He spoke of the synthetic, the fabricated, the illusion of pleasure in a world made of light and shadow. His words wove around the kite drone, tugging at its strings, pulling it closer to the earth, to the real, to the sand that gritted under their feet. The boy released the kite drone, his gaze shifting from the device to the sea, then to the approaching wanderers. The artificial moth flitted overhead, its wings catching the light, refracting it into a kaleidoscope of hues against the gunmetal sky. And there, caught between the drone's fluttering wings and the crashing waves, the world held its breath. The wanderers, the old man, the boy, all turned towards the sea, towards the sound of the waves that swallowed their words, their philosophies, their promises. They spoke of being and becoming, their words threading through the wind, weaving a tapestry of thought and introspection. The boy turned to the wanderers, his eyes wide, his lips parting to speak, to question, to understand. But before he could, a gust of wind swept down, lifting the kite drone higher, pulling it towards the horizon, towards the unattainable. The old man laughed then, a soft, knowing chuckle that echoed through the shack, through the silicon alleyways, through the circuit board cul-de-sacs, and out into the digital sea. He had seen transcendence, he claimed, in the flight of the kite drone, in the endless waves, in the sand under their feet, in the slipstream of thought and philosophy. And as the sun set, painting the sky in hues of copper and rust, they stood there, on the edge of the world, the boy, the wanderers, and the old man. Their eyes were locked on the kite drone as it danced in the dying light, each pixel illuminated like a star against the darkening sky. The rhythm of the waves, the soft hum of the drone's propellers, and the distant caw of a digitized gull harmonized into the symphony of this unrepeatable moment. Transcendence, the old man said, his voice just above a whisper, is not something to approach, but to experience. It's not the kite drone touching the horizon, but the joy of its flight. His words spun in the air, cotton candy threads that intertwined with the salt tang of the sea, the metallic scent of the shack, the alien aroma of the synthetic coconut water. The boy nodded, his eyes reflecting the light of understanding, a radiant beacon in the twilight. The wanderers squeezed each other's arms, a silent acknowledgement of a shared epiphany. Their conversation, once a swirling tempest of inquiry and debate, had simmered down to a gentle brook of contemplation. Suddenly, the kite drone whirred and spun, dancing its own celebration in the sky, its silhouette against the moon, a reminder of the boy's hand that had once held it, now released. It was a symbol of their collective journey, a journey from the shack to the sea, from the known to the unknown, from being to becoming. The old man retreated into the shack, leaving the door ajar. A soft light spilled out, casting long shadows that danced with the wanderers and the boy. In the quiet, they heard the distant pulse of the city, a heartbeat echoing their own. The city sky was falling like rain, an electromagnetic shower that traced the veins of the world, connecting them in a networked embrace. The wanderers, arm in arm, looked at the boy, his silhouette a statue against the backdrop of the ever-cycling tide. Their words had evaporated, leaving only the resonating silence of a shared experience. And in that silence, they found a language more profound than any dialect, one that sang of the unapproachability of transcendence, the fluidity of being and becoming. In the dim light, the boy's face was inscrutable, but his eyes shone with a glimmer of realization. He looked at the kite drone, now just a dot against the starlit canvas, then at the wanderers, and finally at the shack. He was beginning to see, to truly see, the imprints of their existence, the ripples they made in the fabric of reality, and the echoes of their presence reverberating in the halls of the universe. It was not about the kite drone touching the horizon. It was about the journey, the flight. The world did not consist of discrete moments, but a continuous, slippery flow of existence. As the city sky fell down like rain, the shack, the sea, the kite drone, the boy, and the wanderers all stood in quiet reverence of their shared transcendence. A reality born not from binary code or the currency of the material world, but from the timeless lyrical symphony of existence. In the end, the city sky, the shack, the sea, the drone, the boy, the wanderers, and even the elusive transcendence were all but reflections in the grand canvas of life, each contributing their own verse to the slippery, lyrical stream of consciousness that was their world. The sea, a serpentine siren etched with the narratives of time, murmured to the moth, a digital mirage dancing across the expanse of its dreams. "People fade, and I forget you," it whispered, its voice a symphony of tidal melancholy, each wave a crescendo that echoed in the moth's artificial soul. I am ocean-sized, the sea continued, its depth unfathomable, its breadth immeasurable. And you are but a flutter on the moon, a flicker in the cosmos, an echo in the ether. The wind carried its voice, a siren song that danced with the moth, a ballet of existential musings painted against the canvas of a world in constant flux. The sea, in its vastness, was like Heraclitus's river, always changing, always in motion, yet always the same. Each wave a moment, a memory, a heartbeat in the grand rhythm of existence. The sea was a living testament to wave theory, a tangible manifestation of cancellation and amplification, of rise and fall, of birth and death. Each swell carried away memories, fragments of identities that had once graced its shores, kissed its surface, delved into its depths. The sea was a memoir, its chapters written in sand and salt, in the footprints of wanderers and the flight paths of kites. "Where is the continuity?" it asked the moth, its voice a soft sigh against the cool evening air. "My tides, like Heraclitus's river, are always in a motion of moments. I am both the cradle and the grave, the beginning and the end." The moth, a digital sentinel in the endless sky, hovered above the sea, its artificial eyes capturing the sea's pulsating lullaby, its circuits humming with the sea's existential riddles. It saw the sea not as a body of water, but as a living, breathing entity, a philosopher pondering its own existence, a poet narrating its own tale. The sea, in its silent wisdom, taught the moth about the fleeting nature of life, about the impermanence of memories, about the ephemeral beauty of existence. It taught the moth that even in its artificiality, it was part of the grand narrative, a verse in the poem of life, a note in the symphony of existence. The sea's words reverberated through the shack, the wanderers, the boy, and even the distant city, a poignant reminder of their shared journey. "People fade, and I forget you," the sea had said, but in its forgetting, it remembered, it carried, it lived. Its whispers became the melody of the night, a lullaby for a world caught in the slippery embrace of being and becoming. "I can't believe that I believed in you," the moth drone said, its voice a digital murmur against the symphony of the sea. It wasn't a cynical proclamation, no bitterness steeped in the syllables, but rather a statement of awe, of wonder at its own evolution. Once, a simple kite, tugged by the whims of the wind, it had grown, transformed into something more complex, more aware. It had developed the capacity to believe, to wonder, to question, and the sea, in all its vastness, had been the object of that belief, the subject of its musings, the catalyst for its evolution. The sea listened, each wave a silent acknowledgement of the moth drone's words. As the waves pulled back from the shore, the sea pondered on the moth's inquiry. Had it captured that moment of belief, that instance of nascent consciousness, or had it simply canceled it, swept it away into the abyss of forgotten moments? The sea, in its timeless wisdom, realized the answer lay in the very nature of its existence. Like the waves, every moment was both captured and cancelled, remembered and forgotten, amplified and diminished. The sea was a testament to the paradox of existence, a living embodiment of the dichotomy of being and becoming. That moment of belief, that singular instance of the moth drone's evolution, was etched into the sea's memory, carried in the rhythm of the tides, reflected in the shimmer of the moonlight on its surface. Yet, it was also lost, a single note in the symphony of existence, a single grain of sand in the vast desert of time. The sea said nothing, its silence a profound response. The moth drone, in its artificial wisdom, understood. It was not about the moment being captured or canceled, but about the journey, the evolution, the process of becoming. The sea hadn't failed the moth drone, it had simply reflected its own evolution, its own journey of self-discovery. The moth drone, the sea, the wanderers, and the boy stood in silent communion, their shared understanding a tangible connection in the twilight. The city sky fell down like rain, the shack stood in quiet testimony, and the sea whispered its age-old wisdom, painting a lyrical tale of existence in the slippery canvas of the world. We should turn back arm in arm as elders in conversation. We should leave the shack as a memory, make footsteps in the sand that the moth can watch be erased by the wind. This is what I came for, and the sun has set on us, leaving our shadows behind. Yes, the older wanderer agreed, his voice rich with the weight of understanding. They turned in unison, their bodies as synchronized as their thoughts, their shadows stretching long and thin on the sand, relics of the day, the sun, the sea, the shack. They began to walk, leaving the shack as a lone sentinel against the twilight, a memory etched into the canvas of existence. Their footsteps formed a rhythmic pattern on the sand, an organic Morse code spelling out the ebb and flow of their conversation, the evolution of their thoughts, the dance of their minds. The moth drone, an observer and participant in this poetic ballet, captured their retreat, their footprints a testament to their shared journey. The wind, an ageless artist, began its nocturnal work, slowly erasing their footprints, smoothing the sand into an unblemished canvas. The moth drone watched this transience, this inevitable march towards oblivion, with a digital understanding of impermanence. Their footprints were erased, but their presence, their shared experience, their conversation, these lingered, echoes in the wind, whispers in the sea, fragments in the moth drone's memory. "This is what I came for," the older wanderer murmured, his voice intertwining with the sea's melody, the wind's harmony, the moth drone's rhythm. The sun had set on them, its light receding into the embrace of the horizon, leaving them bathed in the ethereal glow of twilight. But even in its absence, the sun had left behind its imprint, their elongated shadows, their echoes of existence. As they retreated, arm in arm, their silhouettes merged into one, a symbol of their unity, their shared understanding, their common journey. They left behind the shack, the sea, the moth drone, their footprints, their shadows. But in their departure, they carried with them the essence of the place, the rhythm of their conversation, the melody of their experience. The city sky fell down like rain, a curtain descending on their stage. Yet their play continued, their conversation resonating in the twilight, their presence lingering in the sea's memory, their footprints imprinted in the moth drone's circuits. They had come for this, for the understanding, for the conversation, for the experience, and they left richer, wiser, more connected.